Welcome, everybody, to the Redzone Report right here on the Built in Buffalo YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter channels. Built in Buffalo, bringing you Buffalo Bills and AFC East content. Today, we're going to talk about the state of the AFC East. Who's the biggest threat to the Bills? What moves have been made? Let's talk about it. Welcome, everybody. I'm back, your host, Izzy, right here on Built in Buffalo YouTube, Facebook, and X pages. You can find tons of Built in Buffalo content all over the place, brought to you by Monster Energy. Every day of the week, we got something going on. Check us all out. But today, you got me. And we have the state of the AFC East. My man, Jacob Spears. Izzy, welcome. Welcome, Jacob, and everybody else. I'll be paying attention to your comments, but for the most part today, it'll be mostly about the show, but I will still be reacting to comments and likely doing a mock draft. So stay tuned. Now, getting into it, we're going to go in order of the teams that have the most cap space to the least. And we already know what that is. It's also in draft order. So the team's drafting first. All right. All right, here we go. Now, to get it started, I got to remove that and bring up the slideshow. Here we go. Bam. Now, the New England Patriots, they have a new head coach this year, Mike Vrabel, from Tennessee. Played his football mostly at New England, linebacker, Super Bowl champion player, took the Titans to the playoffs a bunch of times, and they've done a lot of work this offseason. Good evening, Sandra King. I see you in the comments. Welcome back. The Patriots have done a lot of work, right? Bill Belichick's gone, so they have now their GM is their vice president of player personnel. He's the one making decisions when it comes to personnel. And new offensive coordinator Josh McDaniels and defensive coordinator Terrell Williams. Now, pictured, you have Mike Vrabel and GM Elliott Wolf. He is the de facto GM. He doesn't actually hold the title, but he is the guy being a GM. My brother in the comments. Let's go, Buffalo. Love you, bro. Give my nephew a big old kiss for me while he's spending time with the baby. But this offseason, they lost a few guys, right? But only a few of them are really guys that I'm worried about it from a Patriots fan. I'm not a Patriots fan. So neither here nor there. They traded away QB Joe Milton to the Dallas Cowboys. And they got a 5th-round pick out of that deal. They released Juwan Bentley, linebacker Curtis Jacobs, tackle Caleb Jones, linebacker Andrew Parker Jr., center Lecitus Smith. They traded away defensive tackle Devon Gachow to the Saints. They lost center David Andrews, and they released linebacker Sione Takitaki, who I did really like a lot coming out of the draft. Sione Takitaki is a player who, when I watched him at the combine, he looked very comfortable doing whatever he was doing. And those are really the guys that they've lost. They haven't lost a lot of guys. We're not really doing re-signings here, because if they re-signed with the team, then obviously they weren't a loss, nor were they an acquisition. They just returned. And so the acquisitions highlighted in red are the guys who I believe, again, are most sufficient. And I deal with every team according to their team's color scheme. And you'll see when I go to the other teams. Let me go ahead and remove this banner. acquisitions, the big star acquisition of the offseason was Stephon Diggs. Very familiar to us Buffalo Bills fans. He's now in our division playing against us twice a year. We'll see how he recovers from that ACL from last year that he suffered while playing for Houston. Surprised he didn't end up trying to sign with the Cowboys, but I mean, I'm guessing that he had looked at the money, and the money the Cowboys could offer was not near what the Patriots could offer. And so the Patriots gave him a nice little, 3-year, $60-something million deal. And now he's a New England Patriot. Stephon Diggs is now a Patriot. They also signed center Garrett Bradbury, who is a pretty good center in the NFL. He's not great, but he's pretty good. They signed a bunch of other players, linebacker Jack Gibbons, QB Joshua Dobbs. He's basically the modern day Ryan Fitzpatrick, or who's the other guy? It's another Josh, I believe, who bounced around and played for like 15 teams. And see, Cowboys got a 7th with Milton. Yes, they did acquire a pick from the Patriots as well. So it wasn't like a 1-for-1. It was a move up in the draft, and the Cowboys get a quarterback who's probably going to see time this year because, let's face it, Dak Prescott's been injured quite a bit in recent seasons. So I hate to, count on somebody getting hurt, but Joe Milton could be one heck of an acquisition for the Cowboys. Now, linebacker Kayvon Chason, another guy that they brought in, former first-round pick for the Jacksonville Jaguars. He is now a New England Patriot rushing off the edge. He is a guy who has not performed to his potential. Didn't sign a huge deal, but he's a Patriot now. Offensive lineman Wes Schweitzer. Safety Mark Epps, who I'm familiar with. He's played some decent ball, but nothing really to write home about. They also got Mac Hollins, and I got him highlighted in red because we're the Bills fans, right? And so we got to look at this and take in the guys who are on our team and no longer with us that we loved. We love Mac Hollins. Good luck to you, New England, but at the same time, take with the Patriots. So he made his decision. He got his money and did his thing. The Patriots are really getting a good culture guy in Mac Hollins, and so good for them. A defensive tackle, Kyrus Tonga. I'm guessing he's a big Samoan guy, and don't know much about him. Cornerback Carlton Davis. I believe he played for the Lions last year, previously with the Buccaneers. Solid cornerback and good acquisition. I don't think it stops them from drafting one, but a good solid acquisition. If they, don't get a guy that they want to get in the draft, then, this guy can play. He can play. Offensive tackle Morgan Moses. He came from the Jets, went over to the Patriots, and Morgan Moses is the guy, if he can stay healthy, he's a pretty good tackle. He's probably going to be on the right side. Right. They also got linebacker Robert Spillane from the Raiders. The Raiders are a dumpster fire. He was one of the bright spots on that team under Antonio Pierce. Antonio Pierce wanted to build that team behind Robert Spillane. He got fired, and now Spillane is out of Las Vegas. He's now with the Patriots. Defensive tackle Milton Williams, Super Bowl beast. Played the Super Bowl and really showed out. Milton Williams was the free agent acquisition outside of Stephon Diggs. He was the big one that got knocked down first. And then they also acquired linebacker from the Dolphins. I don't know if he was with the Dolphins last year, but I know he was with the Dolphins before. And then their team needs are wide receiver, cornerback, offensive line, and edge rushers. They still need edge rushers. They, again, lost Gotchow. Lawrence Guy is no longer with the team as far as I know. Dietrich Wise, if I'm correct, is no longer with the team. He was with them this past year. And, yeah, they have a bunch of needs, but they did address a lot of, players in the free agency. And so the Patriots are looking good. They have 9 draft picks, I believe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep, 9. A first-round pick, a second, 2/3, a fourth, a fifth, and 3/7. So you could probably look at the Patriots and say, okay, they've got ammo to go into the draft and build. I see my man John Roberts says Cowboys got a 7th round with Milton. Yep. Roy Collins said I wanted the Bills to draft Milton in the 6th round, but New England beat us to it. My man Dwayne DF Forever coming in. Miami is in a lot of trouble. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. And then John Robert Tyrell Shavers will probably take Mac Hollins' place. That would be nice if Tyrell Shavers can take a step. That'd be great. And then my man Jacob, as he gets the get that gross logo off the screen. Hey man, this show is going to be an impartial show. I'm trying to be as fair as I can be. I am a Bills fan through and through. I'm a Bills fan through and through, and you know it. But this is a show about being fair and judging who is going to be the biggest threat to the Bills in this season. So yeah, we'll see what happens. Now, the Patriots have the most cap space. They have the most cap space in the division. They made all these moves. They still have $68.47 million in cap space. That's only counting the top 51 players, which is an off-season thing. Come June, when these teams have to cut down, or not June, but come the regular season when these teams have to cut down, the 53-man will take its place. Team cap space, including all, they still have $51.96 million. Dead cap space, they only have 19.87 on the books. So the Pats are in a good spot to build, and they have a good head coach now. Mike Vrabel is an excellent head coach. He showed really good coaching chops in Tennessee. I believe the downfall for him was when they traded away A.J. Brown and they drafted Burks, and it just didn't go well. His QBs were struggling. They lost their best weapon, and it was kind of downhill from there. But the Patriots do have the firepower. If they do everything right, they will be a really massive threat to the Buffalo Bills' AFC East domination in the last 5 years. The Patriots are a team that are capable. So we'll see what happens. My man Spin comes in. Miami was in trouble before Armstead retired. My man Jacob says, I was just kidding. I know, Jacob. I know. You know I love you, buddy. My man Spin says, Bills, Pats, Jets, Dolphins in that order. No AFC East team is a threat to the Bills. I would agree with that for the most part. This isn't just for this year, but long term. Which team is probably going to be the team that gives us the next challenge in the division? The Patriots have a shot to do that. Now, moving on to the next team, the Miami Dolphins. Okay. They have the second most cap space if you go by the top 51 players, right? Total team cap space, if you include everybody, is $491,000, not million, $491,000 in cap space available if they are to, how you say, if all the players on the team right now counted, that's what it would be. Man, John Robert comes in. I wonder if Bean would trade with the Patriots to get a third. That might be an idea. That's an idea. Now, the Dolphins, they lost more players than the Patriots, and they signed fewer from what it looks like. Let me see. It's close, but they definitely lost more players, right? So their acquisitions are QB Zach Wilson, who, again, is significant mainly because he's a guy that is probably going to see the field, right? Tua gets hurt a lot. He gets hurt every year, and the backup sees time. So they went and got Zach Williams, who still has some upside, even though he's had his troubles. And he's a guy to pay attention to. I'll say that. They also signed tight end Farrell Brown, punter Ryan Stonehouse, linebacker Willie Gay Jr., formerly of the Steelers. I don't know where he was last year, but I know he played for the Steelers, and he was a solid linebacker there. So if the Dolphins can do right by him, if their defensive coordinator Anthony Weaver can get his stuff together, then linebacker Willie Gay could have a nice little resurgence there. Offensive lineman Larry Borum, offensive guard James Daniels, wide receiver Nick Westbrook-Ikhine, former draft bust, right? He was a Tennessee Titan, I believe, and just hasn't lived up to the bill. Cornerback Ryan Cooper Jr. and cornerback Artie Burns. Safety Ifeatu Melifonwu, who I have highlighted. He played at Syracuse. He was with the Lions. They drafted him, I believe, to be a safety nickel kind of guy, and that role has been taken by Brian Branch. So he's naturally the odd man out there. He's now with the Dolphins. Linebacker KJ Britt, don't know a lot about him. Safety Ashton Davis, formerly of the Jets, is now with the Dolphins. Solid safety. The Jets lost some players. You'll see him on their loss list. And then running back Alexander Madison, formerly of the Vikings, and this past year he was with the Raiders. He is not a, how you say, he's not a starting running back, right? The Raiders tried with him, and he's just not that guy. He's a guy who's really needs to be a backup. He needs to be the second guy in. And so he's not really a big acquisition. But if the Dolphins do what I think they're going to do, and that's use Achane more on first and second down, Madison can be a guy that contributes to the Dolphins in a meaningful way. Let's see. Bills past Dolphins in order. Okay. I wonder if Bean trained with third round. Okay. Yep. I do like Ikine. Sucks his career. Probably going to die in Miami. That's that's funny. I like that. But he made it work with Levi. Levi and their collection of QBs. So who knows? He's got potential. You know, he hasn't lived up to it because the quarterback situation in Tennessee. And he has had some drop problems. So we'll see what happens there. Let's see. Who's Poyer with? Poyer is with nobody right now. He's a free agent. He's not on this list because they have not technically lost him yet. He is a free agent. He's not on the team. I did not put guys who are not gone. You know what I'm saying? So Poyer, he can re-sign with the Dolphins. He could also come back to the Bills. We don't know. But he's a free agent as of now. And I'm sure that they're probably not leaving the door, closed on him. But we'll see what happens. He was a Dolphin this past year. And I think that the Bills may be willing to bring him back on like a veteran minimum deal to help out with Cole Bishop. That would mean that Cole Bishop was schooled up by Taylor Rapp, Micah Hyde, and Jordan Poyer, which would be a good thing if you can get him back. Even on the practice squad, it would be a good thing. I know some Bills fans are apprehensive about that because of the heel Keon Coleman situation, but, I digress. I think that Poyer is probably going to end up having to sign a minimum deal somewhere or retire. The Stonehouse is a very good punter, good pickup. Yeah, it's a solid pickup. I like Stonehouse. I didn't highlight him because he's a punter, so there's that. But Dolphins, they have a good amount of draft picks too. They have looks like 9 picks as well. They have a first rounder, a second, a third, 2 fourths, 2 fifths, and 2 sevenths. So no 6th-round picks for the Dolphins. They picked 13th overall in the first round. Their team needs are offensive line, really bad. Quarterback, Zach Wilson, to me, is not the answer anywhere. He's a backup in the NFL to me. And Tua is injury prone. No, 1 more concussion, 2 more concussions, and his family's probably going to have to step in and tell him, like, come on home. This is not going to be it. This is not the way. And so quarterback is on their list of needs for me. Defensive line, they do need some interior defensive help. Ever since they lost Wilkins, it's not really been pretty for them. They do have solid outside guys. Phillips. This past year, they drafted Chop Robinson from Penn State. So they got some decent outside, help, edge rushers. But the D-line, Ogba's not on the team anymore. He's also a free agent. He has not been signed, so there is potential for him to be signed somewhere else. But he could also re-sign with the Dolphins on a cheap deal. We'll see what happens. But they also need a cornerback. They did sign a couple corners, but neither one of those guys, blows my mind in any way, shape, or form. I know that they have Jalen Ramsey, but on the other side, Pupu Kaka is just not great. They get burnt by us every game because the other guy can't cover anybody. And so that's where they are. The Dolphins, they kind of have a cap issue. They have $17 million of available cap to play around, but they have to get under the salary cap with the final 53. So they only have actually like $491 million to play with. There's already 2 players not being counted for with the top 51. Right? So they're going to be one of those teams cuts players that are going to be pretty sizable contracts. Pretty sizable contracts. And so the players that they lost are Javon Holland, safety. He's now a Giant. Terran Armstead just retired. Braxton Berrios is now gone. Calais Campbell is back with the Cardinals. Raheem Mostert is now gone, and they just signed Alexander Madison to fill that role. Defensive end Deshaun Hand is out of there. Tight end Durham Smythe is gone. Offensive lineman Robert Jones. Offensive tackle Kendall Lamb is out of there. Linebacker Anthony Walker Jr. is out of there. And wide receiver River Craycraft is out of there. And the key contributors they lost are the top 5 guys: Holland, Armstead, Braxton Berrios, Calais Campbell, and Raheem Mostert. Braxton Berrios, slot receiver, not featured as much this past year, so he was let go. Raheem Mostert had a solid year. He's had some fumbling issues, so they let him go. I think that there's going to be a lot of turnover here next year, right? This year's going to be one of those years where they're going to have to jettison some guys, and they're going to have to clean up the cap a little bit, and then next year's going to be where they try and make a leap. Not to say that they're not going to try and, get good guys in the draft. Obviously, they want to do that and get them on the cost control contracts. But there's going to be a lot of guys that they thought were going to be in their core that aren't going to be in their core following this season. So the Dolphins are in trouble. I don't think that there's going to be too much craziness going on there. Nothing that we don't expect. I expect them to be competitive in games, but I don't expect them to have a great record. Just don't. In the comments, I see John Robert Derek for us could be well for us. He could be good for us yet. For the Bills. Spin comes back in. I don't think QB is a need for them. They paid Tua. He is their QB, so they need to pray it works out. And Zach Wilson probably going to be better than any rookie QB they would draft. This is Hill's last year, isn't it? I think they just re-signed Hill. I think they just paid him. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure he's got years on his contract. And then Jacob Spears, the Finns are Finnish. There you go. I see what you did there. Jacob. All right, so the next team, obviously, the New York Jets. Okay, Jets. This is one side as I'll get on it. They have a little less cap space. They have $17 million, top 51 only, and then they are minus 2.1 with the whole team. Okay, so they're going to do the same thing the Dolphins are doing. They're going to have to cut some guys who are making some significant money, and that's just the reality of it. Their acquisitions this year, we'll go with the coaching first. Head coach Aaron Glenn, who they just acquired from Detroit, who had one heck of a season, derailed by injuries in the playoffs, and it's sad to see them, happen like that, but it is what it is. Aaron Glenn and Ben Johnson both left Detroit. Ben Johnson went to the Bears, a division rival, and Aaron Glenn went back to his team that drafted him in the NFL, the New York Jets. And their GM now is Darren Mugi, and their offensive coordinator is Tanner Engstrand, and their defensive coordinator is Steve Wilkes. So, their acquisitions have been fairly modest, right? Fairly modest. Justin Fields, who everybody thought was going to be pretty good for the Steelers if he went back there, but he chose not to, which I think is a smart decision on his behalf because they brought you in and they benched you once already. Why would you go back? I wouldn't go back to the Steelers. Again, I don't know if I'd go to the Jets, but, if they had the money, then that's where you go. You go where the money's at. And so Justin Fields is a New York Jet. Tight end Stone Smart. I've heard of him. Haven't seen much of him. Brandon Stevens, who I accidentally put on here, he is a re-sign, I believe. But really good player. He's a guy who can probably take up the spot that DJ Reed had. Let me pull him up real quick and take a look at Brandon Stevens. Brandon Stevens. He was with the Ravens last year. So, nope. He was an acquisition, so I did not accidentally put him on here. He was with the Ravens, and now he's with the Jets. They brought in center Josh Myers and cornerback Chris Boyd. Wide receiver Josh Reynolds, who solid wide receiver. He's a good third receiver, wide receiver 3 there. Nice pickup, defensive tackle Derek Nadi. Don't know much about him, but safety Andre Cisco, another Syracuse corner, comes back to the AFC East. And when I say comes back, I mean they played at Syracuse, so they're now back to where they're in our, in our face. Defensive tackle Byron Cowart, tight end Stone Smart. I put Stone Smart on here twice. Awesome, good job, me. Wide receiver Tyler Johnson, linebacker Rashad Weaver, and defensive tackle Jay Tufele. The Jets have a solid team. They have a solid team, but they did lose some talent, and we'll go over that in just a second. See, Spin wasn't Hill wanting out last season. He was saying something in the offseason right after they didn't make the playoffs. He was saying, "I'm done," basically, and yeah, he basically had to recant his statements. See, Hill has one more year with Miami, free agent in 2027, but Miami does have an out next offseason. So that's 2 years, though. He's got the 2025 season and the 2026 season. So the 2027 season is when he'd be a free agent. So he has 2 more years on his contract. They do have an out. I don't know if they're going to exercise that out. They could have traded him this year and probably, recoup some stuff. But, here we are. See, team captain Tyreek Hill said he wanted out after their last game. He's still there for now. I agree. See, I don't see the Jets doing much. They'll be drafting quite a bit, all 8 of their picks probably. And I think there's a significant chance that a lot of those picks will make that team. They also don't have any 7th-round picks, so the latest they'll draft is the 6th. Personnel-wise, Jets not in bad shape to go for a QB who wants to start. Yeah. See, AFC East is a cakewalk for the Bills again. Hey, Izzy, my podcast is live tonight on YouTube at 8:30. 716 Sports Blizzard. My man Robbie, check him out at 8:30 tonight. Appreciate you, Robbie, for stopping in before your show. I know you're probably getting ready for yours just like I was getting ready for mine. I spent hours today doing all this data and stuff. See, the Jets like QBs from the AFC North, Aaron Rodgers and Fields. Oh, he said I'm out. Yeah, I remember that too. Yeah. Now, the Jets' losses are pretty steep. They lost wide receiver Devontae Adams. They lost cornerback DJ Reed. Devontae is now with the Rams. Reed is now with the Lions, I believe. Javon Kinlaw is now with the Commanders. Hassan Reddick is now with the Cardinals, I believe, or the Buccaneers, one of the two. I believe he's with the Buccaneers. The Cardinals got the other guy from the Eagles. I get those two guys confused. I don't know why. Morgan Moses, he's now a Patriot. Tyler Conklin's out of there. Solomon Thomas is now a Cowboy. Brandon Eccles, quarterback or safety Ashton Davis is now with the Dolphins. Guard Wes Schweitzer is now also, I believe, with the Dolphins with the Patriots. Defensive tackle Leki Fotu and tight end Kenny Yeboah. So all the losses that the Jets have had. The first 6 names I named are actual, or 7 names that I named are actual contributors that, could hurt the team. See, the Jets were not good last season, and they're bringing back a younger, less talented team. Is Justin Fields and Josh Allen all of a sudden not a believer? I'm not believing in the Jets either. Don't get my words twisted as if I'm believing the Jets. They have talent. They've lacked good coaching. They've lacked a good head coach. Now, is Aaron Glenn going to be a good head coach? I have no clue if Aaron Glenn can be a good head coach for the New York Jets. There's no telling. I'm hoping that he can be a solid head coach for his own sake, not because I hope the Jets are good, but I want to have some competition in division. And so when I say competition, I don't mean I want us to lose the games. I want us to have teams in there that can challenge the Bills in ways to make the Bills get better. See, the Jets always lose that. What's new? Nothing now, obviously. See, Jets team is going to go down as the epic fail attempt in a Super Bowl team in NFL history. Yep. Robbie Schneider, wish you were on Facebook. Hey, man, hop on YouTube, bro. YouTube is hard to crack, dude. I'm telling you. We've been built him up for trying to crack YouTube, and we're getting there, but it's not an easy one to crack. Facebook, we got a lot more of you guys on Facebook, but if you guys would check out our YouTube, man, because the algorithms are different. See, I don't see Solomon Thomas as much of a loss for Miami. The Jets. The Jets lost him. There you go. Jets' biggest problem is ownership, poor coaching, and lousy QB tied for second. Yeah, all that. We'll see if Justin Fields can do something. He showed promise with the Steelers last year, but let's be real here. Mike Tomlin is an excellent head coach, and he makes players, especially quarterbacks, that aren't great look better than they are. He just does. And so I like Justin Fields. I don't wish negatively towards his career. I hope he, steps on a freaking. I don't know. I hope he stubs his toe before every Bills game, but I hope he, his career goes well for him. I don't want to wish negatively on anybody's careers. I don't want to wish concussions on Tua, but it is what it is. Now, their biggest needs, and they have a bunch of them now because DJ Reed is gone, but they did bring in Brandon Stevens. He's in a similar situation as the guy the Dolphins brought in. He's a guy who can play. He can, the Patriots brought in. He can play, but he's not great. And so if you have a chance to draft somebody who's excellent in the first round, a Jedi Barron or something like that, the Jets probably should go after somebody like that. But they also need a tight end. You can get that a little later. Offensive line, they do need offensive line help. They've lost some significant offensive linemen. They do need a quarterback, obviously. Will they draft one? We'll see. It depends on if one of them falls to them at 7, and if the one that falls to them is the one that they want. Maybe they look to trade back up into the first round later and snag a Jackson Dart or something like that. I don't know because they just paid Justin Fields for 3 years, so we'll see what happens, or 2 or 3 years. We'll see what happens there. Maybe they think that they can make something out of him. If they can, good for them. But defensive line is another spot they can use some help at. They lost Kinlaw. They lost Solomon Thomas. They've got some spots that are now open from starters who are no longer there. And so the Jets really need to refurbish this roster. They need to get back to it. Now, in the draft, they pick in the first round number 7 overall, second round 42 overall, third round 73 overall, fourth round 110 overall, fifth round 145, again in the fifth round 162, sixth round 186, and in the sixth round again 207. So their picks are all pretty spread out, right? From 7 to 42, 42 to 73, 73 to 110. There's like 20 to 30 picks between each of their picks. 20 to 30 picks every time. They have the firepower to move around a little bit, and they have some contracts that they're probably going to have to come up off of. So you could see them trade some talent. And if they do go ahead and trade some talent, they could acquire more draft capital and get younger and start building this core. But their cap is where they're in trouble. The dead cap space, $37 million in dead cap is tough, right? And even we're in a better boat when it comes to dead cap. They have the most dead cap in the division. We'll see what they do. But again, I'm not a Jets fan, and I'm not hoping that they come up all of a sudden. But I would like to see a little competition inside the division. Okay? That's where I stand on that. Now, the last slide is obviously everyone's favorite team, the Buffalo Bills. Now, our acquisitions are fewer. And because of that, I was able to put an extra logo on the page. Bam, go Bills. Head coach Sean McDermott is returning to the Buffalo Bills. Same head coach and same GM. No changes in the front office. Same OC Joe Brady and DC Bobby Babbage Jr. Player acquisitions. Joshua Palmer, wide receiver, came from the LA Chargers. Good wide receiver, can play any spot. He can play the X. And he's pretty good at the X as well. Very good route runner, good hands. He's just found himself being the number 3 every time he was there, between Keenan Allen and Quentin Johnson being there. But this past year, it was Quentin Johnson who had come up big after his rookie year, along with what's his name, drafted out of Georgia, Ladd McConkey. Also, before he got there, Mike Williams was there. So the Chargers had firepower at receiver, plus they had decent tight ends in Everett. Now the Chargers have lost a lot of that talent. And now this guy has come home basically. He's from Toronto, so about an hour and a half drive away. And he's playing for a team that he probably rooted for in high school. And, you know, he's here with us. He's here with us. Now, I didn't highlight any of our players because we all know who our highlights are. Joshua Palmer is probably one of those guys who's going to be a solid contributor for the Buffalo Bills. Next on the list, linebacker Michael Hoyt, who I thought when we drafted him, because when I looked him up on PFF, they had him at 310 pounds. Apparently, he's about 265, 270, and he was a linebacker outside edge rusher for the Rams, excuse me. He's now going to be a kind of jack of all trades linebacker / end for the Buffalo Bills, similar to what Von Miller did. And the good thing about him is he's really good against the run, and he wins pretty well against the pass rush. He's a good pass rush win. Says player acquisition should list Jake Camarda too, technically a free agent. He was with the practice squad this past year. We acquired him on our practice squad. He's been with the team for a little bit now, I think. See, Brad Robbins is also added. I must have missed some guys when I was looking at the list of transactions. So forgive me for that, guys, if I missed some guys. They also brought in Joey Bosa, who's listed as a linebacker, but we all know he's going to be an end in our system. He's a edge rusher, and he is a damn good one when he's healthy. Big time acquisition there for a low price. Good on us for getting him. Defensive tackle Larry Ogunjobi from the Steelers. He was with the Steelers this past year. I forget where he went before that, but solid 3 technique. He's going to be here to rotate in with Ed Oliver. Cornerback Dane Jackson makes his return to Buffalo from the Panthers on a vet minimum deal. I know a lot of people are not very high on Dane Jackson starting. And I don't think the Bills are either. Otherwise, they would have paid him more than they paid him. But he got vet minimum, and so that's where he's at. He's not going to be on the team to start, and he may not even make the team. Right? He's going to have some competition. And Jamarcus Ingram and Cam Lewis may have something to say about him making this team because they both can play inside and out. And they played well for us this year. In the limited capacity they played for us, they played well. Safety Derek Forrest, which is by far one of the biggest sleepers that most Bills fans see as a sleeper. Derek Forrest, college tape is excellent. And there's that. You know, whenever he's seen the field, he's played well, but he's just been stuck behind 2 good safeties. And that could end up being the case here in Buffalo as well if Cole Bishop's progression really spikes. But if not, Derek Forrest is here. He signed a 1-year deal here, so we'll see what happens there. Darrington Evans ended up on the Bears this past year. He's back with the Bills. He's a practice squad guy for us. They signed him off our practice squad. Didn't do good enough there to warrant being kept. So now he's a Bill again. Also, offensive guard Kendrick Green. Now, player losses. Before I get into that, I'll get into some of the comments here. The Jets have Fields and Tyrod at QB. Yes, sir, they do. For the most part, teams are around 32 picks that separate the other picks. So we have some gaps like that on ours. But if you look at our first rounder, we're at 30. Then in the second round, 56 and 62. So like 6 picks there. Then you go to 109. You have 20 picks there to 30 to 32, and then another 30 picks to 169. But then you got 170, 173, 177. Like we have a lot of picks that are like really close together. Sandra King, just subscribed on YouTube. Thank you, ma'am. We appreciate that. How do you have Camarda on here? How do you not have Camarda? Because he's a punter. And I'm pretty sure he got signed to the practice squad during the season. So he feels is signed for 25 and 25, 3 void years on his deal. That's void years are nice and all, but geez. See, player acquisition should list Jake Camarda too, technically a free agent. Okay. Brad Robbins is also added. Brad Robbins. Let me go ahead and pull him up real quick and see what I find out about him. Brad Robbins. Punter. Okay. I think I did see something about him. See, so all of the practice squad guys were futures contracts. That's how that works. They're on your practice squad. The season ends. Those practice squad guys are no longer on your practice squad because you no longer have a practice squad, and now they become futures. So I could be wrong on Camardo though. Yeah, you're not wrong that we signed him to a futures deal because we did, but the reason why we signed him to a futures deal is because he was on our practice squad, so we had the right to sign him to a futures deal. See, Derek may take over for Taylor Rapp because Taylor always gets injured. That's true. He does. Yeah, October 22nd, Tampa Bay waived Camarda. January 8th, Camarda signed a futures contract with the Bills. Okay. But that was still during the season. That's like in the playoffs. That's like the wild card round of the playoffs. So he signed before the offseason. I wouldn't put him in here. Anyway, players that we lost. We lost wide receiver Mac Hollins. He is now a New England Patriot. We lost punter Sam Martin. He is now a Carolina Panther. We lost Casey Toohill. He's somewhere else. I forget where he went, though. Will Clapp is also signed to another team. Von Miller, we released him. He's not signed to another team at the moment, but it's very unlikely that we bring him back because we signed Joey Bosa. And so it's possible that we bring him back. And Brandon Beane has said, hey, we could bring back Von, but I don't know if that's really going to happen. Then we lost 3 defensive tackles, Austin Johnson, Jordan Phillips, and Quentin Jefferson. Good riddance. Traded Kyer Elam to the Cowboys, and Tommy Doyle retired, which makes sense. Yes, he is, and I should have put him on here, but when I was looking at the spot track, he wasn't on there yet, and so I just missed it. It's my bad. Samara or Camarda has a career average of 49.1. I'm guessing that you did talk to text, so that's probably how that came out. All right, or autocorrect. Fix you up real nice. Now, draft picks. The Bills have 10. We all know what they are. Pick 30, pick 56, 62, 109, 132, 169, 170, 173, 177, and 206. Okay. Looking at our cap space, we have $6 million in cap space, which puts us at the least cap space of anybody in the division, right? For the top 51, going back and then going back all the way to the Bills. Now, we also have the least team cap space overall with all the players. So the Bills are probably going to have to let go of some contracts too. Some guys who are making money are probably going to be traded or let go. It's how it's going to go. Either that or somebody's going to get restructured. Brandon Beane likes to play his stuff close to the vest. Dead cap space, though. We're only 3rd in the division, if I'm correct. Jets have 37. Dolphins have 30. Pitchers have 19. The Bills have 29. So we are 3rd in the division. Patriots are 4th. Right? That's most. So we have the 3rd most dead cap space in the division at $29 million. Brandon Beane's going to be fixing that here lately. Or soon. See, Stonehouse got love. He did get love because he was actually signed and he was actually on Spot Track's list there. I use Spot Track because they're the ones who get all the contracts. And they're usually pretty quick about that stuff. Thanks, Spot Track. See, I like Dante Thornton, wide receiver late. Okay. I got some guys I like. We all know Beane likes to trade picks. He does like to trade picks indeed, Kim. Welcome back to the party, Kim. Man, Mr. Boomhauer. See, Camarda is a hell of a punter. He got cut because he broke a team rule and the coach was struggling with discipline and had to set an example to right the ship. So the punter was the example. Okay. Well, he's got competition now in Robin, so we'll see what happens there. The Bills are in good shape. We're in good shape. That's where I'm gonna leave that. We're in good shape and we're gonna be fine. Now, Now we're done with the PowerPoint. We're going to get back to the show. Well, my normal self. Can't wait for the season to start. The biggest threat to me, as of right now, in the division is going to be the Patriots. They have the potential. They have the most potential for growth right now. Third overall pick, and I don't think that they're going to do anything significant this year when it comes to playing, but I think that we'll see a significant jump in their win column. All right, let's see. A Tampa Bay Buccaneers reporter was on Sal Capaccio's show, I'm guessing, and told that story. Okay, that's fine. So the biggest threat is the Bills. That's true, too. See, honestly, to make sure we can solidify the slime and the secondary, I'm guessing you're saying D-line and the secondary, they have to trade that 30 pick. Possible. So the Bills are in better shape than last year. Yes, they are. They have less dead cap than last year. They have more cap space than last year, and they have more levers to pull to make cap space if they need to. Also, they have a bunch of contracts that they can easily get out of. So that's very important. Now, we're going to have a little fun, and we are going to do an AFC East mock draft. We're going to do the whole East. We're going to pick for all the teams. And I'm going to do this fair. I'm not going to sit here and try and screw those teams, okay? Let's try and do this and be nice, okay? We got the Bills, the Dolphins. The Patriots are there, and the Jets are... The heck are the Jets? There they are, Jets. Let me share the screen. Share screen. Bam. Share. Put that on the big screen. Pull that off again. I don't even know why I put it back on. See, and just as sure as a Tuna boys have mid QB, so do the Patriots. I don't know about that. Drake may look pretty good last year. How the hell is your stash not gray? I have no idea, dude. I've been graying from down here and up. Like, look at the hair. Right? I'm going this way. I'm burning the candle upside down. It's weird, but you know what? It's all good. It's all good. I'll let it go from the bottom up. It's cool. My beard is weird. It matches my shirt. Look. All right. Let's go ahead and see about adding this. Bam. Adding to the stage. We'll go ahead and just full screen that. Bam. I'm not that important. Now, we have the Bills. We have the Dolphins. We have the Jets. We have the Patriots all highlighted, right? Patriots, Bills, Jets, Dolphins. We're going 7 rounds. And we're gonna go ahead and head up in here. Starting the draft. Cam Ward first overall. Travis Hunter second overall. Shedeur Sanders to the Giants. The Patriots have trade offers here. They have the Cowboys offering them pick 12 and 149. Next year's round 1, 2, and 4. And then offensive tackle Tyler Guyton. And the Patriots do need an offensive tackle. Do we move the Patriots back to 12? Or do we have them take, let's minimize that, someone like an Ashton Genty or an Abdul Carter? They do need an edge rusher. They could use a running back, but I wouldn't do that to them. I don't think that would be what they're really in need of. Mason Graham is a pick that they could use as well. There you go. Skip trades that offer picks for next year. Okay, I agree with that. Let's see. So we're going to skip that one. This one is a bunch of picks next year. And the Colts off tackle Bernard Rayman and pick 14. So they get an offensive tackle and have to move back. We're going to reject all those trades. None of those seem right. And I think that the Patriots are going to go with the best player potentially in the draft, Abdul Carter, defensive end. I just think that that's the smartest pick that they could make. Jets are now on the board. We're going to go ahead and next offer. Next offer. Oh, that's it. Rejecting all of those. The Jets have on the board a defensive tackle. They have a need for a defensive tackle. They do need a quarterback, but both quarterbacks have already gone. They could use another cornerback, but that's not really a huge need for them. I'd say their O-line is one of their bigger concerns. Kelvin Banks Jr. is sitting right here, but they could pair Quinnen Williams with Mason Graham right now. Let me go ahead and pull up their roster. Jets. ESPN real quick. NFL. New Jersey Jets. As of right now, Derek Nottie, Quinnen Williams, Will McDonald's a beast, Jermaine Johnson, pretty beastly. The Jets are going to do the smart thing and do, in my opinion, the smart thing here. And they'll take the defensive tackle, Mason Graham from Michigan. He's now a Jet. I agree. If Carter was not there, you trade. Now, the Dolphins are on the board. They have two trades here. This one's got some first rounders or from next year picks. And this one has a next year pick as well. We're rejecting those. Doesn't help us this year. So the Dolphins are on the board. And they have a severe need to protect their quarterback, Tua Tagovailoa, who for some reason just can't not get hit. He's always getting smashed. He's always getting concussed. They could use a corner. They could also use a offensive tackle and an offensive guard. So what they're going to do is they're going to do the wise thing and try and keep that dude from spiking his head on the ground again. And they're going to draft Armand Membu, offensive tackle. Let's see. Right, he's him for sure. Mason would be the best pick, like you said, to pair with. Unless a trade. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And now we're waiting for the Bills pick. We are now on the board. The Texans are offering us their next year first round pick and Christian Kirk. No, thank you. And the Cowboys are offering us pick 33, next year's first. See if I would look at that if it wasn't a bunch of next year picks, but nope, rejected. We have safety Nick Amanwari on the board, Kenneth Grant, Luther Burden, all guys that I really do like for the Buffalo Bills. We need a corner, wide receiver, defensive line, and safety, they're saying. Safety might be something I'd look at. Nick Amanwari is on the board. Kenneth Grant is on the board. Can't go wrong with either one of those two guys. Oh, Jesus. That's a tough one because I really, really, really want us to go defensive tackle or corner here. But Nick Amanwari here, man, would be a nasty, nasty pick. Like, that would be sick. That would be absolutely disgusting if you got Nick Amanwari in the secondary. Tell me what you guys think, man. Hell no to Amanwari over Grant. Okay. Next year's pick do nothing for a mock draft. Exactly. That's why I didn't accept it. See, I'm seeing some Nick here. Nick is the pick. I'm seeing hell no to Amanwari over Grant. Next year's pick is for nothing. And he can play slot. We have Taron Johnson for that. That's the one thing holding me back is we have Taron Johnson. See, in reality, I think getting some combination of Grant, Harmon, and Amos Revel is absolutely possible. It's possible, yeah. Starks would have to be the only safety I would consider to take over Grant. Okay. Grant, DT, please. I'm seeing some Nick. Come on, guys. Right now it's Grant winning this, and I tend to agree with that. It's a need over somebody that we really want. But Nick Amawari is a dog, dude. He is a dog. Hmm. Let's see. All right. That's actually a good point, Spin. That's actually a good point. He would replace Bishop, who we just drafted, and we're still developing. All right. That's the convincing point right there. Kenneth Grant, defensive tackle, Michigan, is now a Buffalo Bill. Two teams in division have taken players from Michigan at defensive tackle. Someone had asked me, here we go. Trade offers, round one next year. Okay, that's next year pick. No. John Mechie the third and a first round pick next year. No. Chicago Bears, round 7, pick 2. Oh, excuse me. Pick 7, round 2, 39 overall. Next year's third. No. Reject. And I was asked round 2. Yeah, I did say the Cowboys had 33. What the hell? Or maybe it's 33 in the second round, like the 33rd pick overall in the round. Yeah, I don't know what the hell I was talking about. That's confusing. Anyway, the Pats are on the board. 38th overall pick. And they need a corner, tackle, wide receiver, and edge. First round, they took Abdul Carter. This round, they're looking at, let's see who's on the board. Corner, CB. Oh, that's DB. Trey Amos is here. Azariah Thomas is here. Wide receiver, edge rusher. Let's see wide receivers on the board. Jaden Higgins, Trey Harris, number 58 overall. Trey Amos. Who is their safeties? Who are their safeties? So I think this is neglecting potentially their safety. Jabril Peppers and Kyle Duggar. No, it's not. They have good safeties. And Nickelback, they have Marcus Jones and Carlton Davis III, along with Christian Gonzalez. I don't know if corner is really a need like that. So I would go and give them, they would take Nick Amawari here. Steal of the draft. Yeah. Amawari right there. The Jets are being offered Braxton Berrios. Pick 58, and nope, that's next year's pick. Doesn't do anything for us. Nope. Okay, rejecting all. The Jets are on the board, and they need wide receiver, defensive line, and QB. But QB's on the board. Quinn Ewers is on the board. This would be a reach here. Wide receiver, Jaden Higgins, who I love. I would hate for him to become a New York Jet. But, again, I'm being fair here. DB is also a need I think that they have. Their starting safeties are Andre Cisco and Tony Adams. Yeah. They can use a DB. Sauce Gardner on one side and Brandon Stevens on the other. Brandon Stevens did sign a significant contract, Michael Carter III. So let's look at the defensive line, which they drafted. I had them drafted defensive lineman already, I believe, in round 1. Go back to round 1. Yep. Mason Graham out of Michigan. So they already have a defensive tackle. They don't need edge rushers. Man, they are in a spot. So for them, it's Jaden Higgins out of Iowa State. Slight reach, but that's how the draft board falls. Dolphins have 2 trades on the board here. That one's got next year picks. No. And this one, pick 58 and 89. Plus you get a tackle, Blake Fisher. Let me look him up real quick and see how he grades out. Because if they're trying to trade him, then either they're trying to get rid of his contract or he sucks. Blake Fisher. What you got going on, buddy? All right, so he's not really good. He allowed 4 sacks this past year and 8 QB hits. And the Dolphins in the first round took an offensive lineman, I believe, already. So really not, yeah, they took Membu. So we don't need the tackle for the Dolphins here. QB and offensive guard. Let's see what they have for the O-line. Tackle. There's an abundance of tackles here. Not a lot of guards. Next guard is like Dylan Fairchild from Georgia. So for them, it may behoove them to trade back. You take the 58th overall pick and the third round pick here, and I take that offer. Boom. Yep. Take that offer right away. The Bills are now on the board. The Chiefs always want to trade with us, man. They like our stock. And who was that off? Justin Ross. No, thank you. And next year's picks, nah, doesn't help me at all. The Ravens. Round 3, round 7. Nope. Bengals. Nope. Rams. Nope. All right, so on the board, the overall board, we have a running back here, Omarion Hampton staring us right in the face. We also have safety Xavier Watts standing right here. I don't think they're going to go safety this early. Let's look at the corners, see what they have there. Maxwell Hairston and Darian Porter. It's a little early for both of those guys. Wide receiver, Trey Harris from Ole Miss is there. 6'2", 205. Solid receiver. He projects as a outside X receiver. We also need edge rushers. Kyle Kennard is here from South Carolina, who I do like. Let's see. Oluwafemi Oladejo is here, but that's way down the board. Linebackers, Demetrius Knight, Chris Paul. Man, Xavier Watts. Let's see what he's about. 6'2", 204, 6 interceptions. Man zone slot nickel safety. Okay. Also would be kind of a Cole Bishop replacement. The one staring me in the face here is Maxwell Harrison and Darian Porter. D-line, let's see what we have here. Alfred Collins. Makes me wish we took Imawari or Malachi Starks, but it's all good. Let's see. Bills could go offensive tackle here, but be a reach. Let's see if we can't make a trade. I'm going to trade out of here. And we're going to try and trade back to Tennessee. Nope, not that far back. Trade. Round 3. Bengals, Seahawks, Giants, Chiefs, Browns. Let's try and jump the Chiefs. Why does it keep doing that? Giants, where are you? Giants. So you give us the first pick in the third round and 99 overall, and we're in business. There we go. Traded back. Oh, there we go. Enjoyed your show with TSL. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. It got cut off because one of our internets was acting up, but I don't know. We'll see what happens. No, I jumped you for a reason. All right. Now, I know a lot of people are enamored with Maxwell Hairston. I'm not so much. I personally like the kid Darren Porter out of Iowa State more. He is an outside man corner, very good in zone also. Maxwell Hairston, if you look at his draft profile, outside zone corner, which could potentially his zone grade is about the same, but his man grade is not as good. We're gonna take the speed. Maxwell Hairston. And now our next pick is first pick of the third round. Oh, I guess I didn't trade it. I thought I traded it. Oh, that was the Dolphins. Damn it. They did need a corner anyway, so. Oh, it looks like I'm taking Darren Porter for the Bills. Boom. Brain farted right there. But the Dolphins did need a corner as well, and to hold down the fort opposite Jalen Ramsey. They're going to offer us Malik Hooker and a third round pick. No, thank you. Next offer. Nope. All. Amari Hampton staring me in the face, saying, pick me. Alfred Collins, Demetrius Knight. We're going to go look at edge rushers. And we're going to go ahead and take Kyle Kennard from South Carolina right there. See, that's the way I see the Bills' best option. Now, I see here, Spin, that you don't think that Starks is going to get past picks 15 to 16. You got to remember that safety is not a position you see picked a lot in the first round. There's not a lot of them that get picked in the first round. Some do. Kyle Hamilton, for example, but a lot of teams don't value the position as much as they should. I'll word it that way because it's a valuable position to me. I see it as valuable. Patriots have 3 trade offers. Broncos offering a lot of stuff for next year. No, thank you. All right, so the Patriots have drafted. So you're still showing the Bills over here. Patriots took Emanwari and Abdul Carter, getting that defense right. Now it's time for them to look at weapons. And Trey Harris from Ole Miss is still right here on the board. Outside X receiver. And they are taking their guy. Boom. Trey Harris is a New England Patriot. All right, so now on the board is the New York Jets. Their previous picks, Mason Graham, Jaden Higgins. So they're focusing more on the offensive side of the board. In the later rounds, obviously. First round, they took Mason Graham. Third round here, defensive line quarterback. We're going to look at the whole board. They don't really need a running back. They're solid at running back. Breece Hall. linebacker from South Carolina, Demetrius Knight here. Tight end. They do need a tight end. Let's see how this guy looks. 117 receptions, 1,555 yards, 10 touchdowns. Holy shoot. Inline receiving tight end. Ran a 4.71. Jets, you're welcome. Fell right to you. Top pick on the board, and you need a tight end. This draft is chugging right along. We have the Patriots back on the board. They're offering us cornerback Riley Moss. And they do need they don't need a corner really, but they could use one. Riley Moss played fairly well last year for the Broncos. Obviously not well enough if they're looking to trade him. Let's minimize that, see who's on the board. Patriots could use a running back. Judkins is right here. Who's the Patriots tight end? I believe they just brought back Austin Hooper. Starting tight end is Hunter Henry. They have Austin Hooper, Jaheim Bell. Might be time to look and get younger at the position. Eli Arroyo is right here from the University of Miami. 35 receptions, 590 yards, 7 TDs. Inline multi-role tight end. He ran a 4.69. Man, that's tough to pass up there. Pat's got Henry. They have Hunter Henry. Yeah. Starting running back for them is Ramondre Stevenson. They have Antonio Gibson. Ramondre Stevenson's had some issues lately, the last couple of years. They may look to replace him. Defensive tackle, they just picked up Milton Williams. I know that. Now he's a defensive end for them. Kairos Tunga is their starting nose tackle. Let's see if there's a nose tackle here for him. D-line. Darius Alexander, defensive tackle from Toledo, on the board. 6'4", 305. 3-tech. So it's not a nose tackle. Jordan Phillips on the board, 6'2", 312. He's a nose tackle, but this would be a little high for him. First round, they took Will Carter. Second round pick, they took Nick Mawari. And then they already had a third round pick. Oh, yeah, they had 2/3, I think. So early in the third, they took Trey Harris. So they got a wide receiver. They got a defensive end. And they got a safety. Wide receiver, defensive end, safety. Man, you guys are in a spot, New England. It's late third round. We're taking Judkins. Quinshon Judkins, Ohio State. Beast of a running back. Here we go. Trucking right along. Get Phillips, third round. The Dolphins now have a trade offer, a guard, okay, and a third round pick. That's something I might look at. Nope. Graham Glasgow. Let's see how old he is and what he's got left in the tank. Such a sad face. Solid guard. Okay. Sacks allowed 4, though. Hits allowed 9. Still get to draft it. Yeah, I'm taking that pick. Yeah. Let's see. Dolphins pick right before the Bills. With the Dolphins, we have taken offensive tackle. corner. Is their first and only pick in the second round? Looks like it. So tackle and offensive guard, or tackle and corner, excuse me. See QBs on the board. Jalen Milroe. That would be funny if they took Jalen Milroe. Will Howard, Kyle McCord. I might still look at the O-line. Tackle. Center. Who's their center? Dolphins. We're going depth chart. Aaron Brewer. Never heard of him. He's 27. Taking the center from Georgia, Jared Wilson. See, we drafting Henderson from Ohio State. That'd probably be smart. See, they want to offer us. Nope. Rejection, guys. See, running backs on the board. Cam Scattaboo is the number one guy on the board right now. Running back. This guy right here, Rashard Smith, is a guy I really like. Izzy, if you go over the draft selections to the right and click on team. Oh, there it goes. I see it now. So didn't see that. Thank you. I appreciate that. Oh, God. I'm sitting here like, I can't see the teams. All right, here we go. So Rashard Smith is a guy I really like. Pull him up here. 5'10", 194, so fits the size of James Cook. He had 1,332 rushing yards this year with SMU. He came from the University of Miami. Averaged 5.7 yards a carry, 14 rushing TDs, 39 receptions, and he's a dual role back. And he can pass block. 63 is pretty good pass blocking for a running back. I wait to 135-ish. And the Bills have pick 132. I'm guessing he's still going to be on the board. We've drafted corner DT. See what's at wide receiver. Tez Johnson from Oregon. Man, he ran a slow 40 for a guy who's supposed to be fast. 5'10", 154. Yep. Sorry, Tez. Xavier Restrepo is a guy I do like out of Miami, though. 6'9" catches, 1,127 yards, 11 TDs. Slot receiver. Okay. We have enough of those. Trey Horton, Colorado State. I do like this kid. I think he got hurt this year, though. Outside X receiver. Jalen Lane. I know somebody in the comments said something about a wide receiver earlier, but we'll take a look a little later because after that, this kind of falls off. Let's see. Edge, corner, running back. Cam Scattaboo would be interesting. He's big and strong, 1,700 yards this past year, 5.8 a carry, rush TDs 21. But his running back, his speed is 4.6, so he's not a fast back. Easily caught in the NFL. Doesn't have NFL speed. See if the Bills look to double dip. Darius Alexander. No. Jordan Phillips. 6'2", 312. Here's the double dip right here. Best player on the board, 108 for the Bills. They also like Josh Farmer, though. I know that. I've heard them say they like Josh Farmer. They had him in for an interview, but we just drafted Dwayne Carter last year, and we just signed Ogunjobi. So, for me, it's Jordan Phillips, defensive tackle, Maryland. Don't worry, we're not picking too far from now. Miami is on the board. See the big board. See their linebackers, who they have there. Tyrell Dodson, Jordan Brooks. Yeah, nothing to write home about. If I'm them, Stutzman's on the board. Dolphins take linebacker 3rd round. Bengals like offering a lot of future crap. Boom. Get out of there. Patriots on the board. They have taken. They could use a corner. And one is right here. Zy Alexander out of LSU. 6'1", 187. 4.56 speed. Solid. Zy Alexander is a Patriot. I don't know if I'd say wide receiver is a need. I don't know if I agree with that. At this point in the draft, it's kind of a shot in the barrel, you know. We're at pick 109. Trey Horton, I believe he said he was a slot. Nope, outside X. 4.41 speed. Okay. Let's see what it says his hands are like. I keep clicking off of them like I'm done seeing it. Hands, okay. Route running solid. Blocking not great. Jalen Lane. Multi-role, okay. I'm going to go ahead and take Horton. Boom. Wide receiver taken. Boom. Kyle Williams. What school does he go to? QB for the Jets right here. Staring in the face. Jalen Milroe, you're a Jet. It's exactly the type of player the Jets would take, too. Just let me know what school he goes to. Oh, there he is right there. Never mind. Washington State. I can double dip at receiver, too. Oh, shoot. No, I can't because I just picked him for the... Ah. Did I pick him for us? Who did I pick him for? For the damn Dolphins. Yeah, but there's no telling if he's going to be able to do anything or not after that terrible knee injury. I don't want your next year's picks. Reject. Okay. Wide receiver on the board. We are at pick 132. Running back. LaQuint Allen out of Syracuse is there. I like him, but I don't know if he's fast. He's not. Trevor Etienne out of Georgia. 5'9", 198. Okay, a little more size to him. Dual roll, 4.42 speed. Oof. Big board. Restrepo, linebacker. Smile Mondin. Safety Billy Bowman. QB Kyle McCord. Gabriel. Noah Williams. I'm going with the running back before he's no longer on the board. And Trevor Etienne out of Georgia. I don't think it was a bad pick at all. I think it was a good pick. Because Tyrod's not going to be a starter ever. He's not developing at all. They have a developmental quarterback in dude from Florida State. Okay. And they have Justin Fields. None of that excites me at all. Okay. On the board now. The Dolphins. Dolphins at receiver they lost Braxton Berrios, I'm pretty sure. They have Jalen Waddle, Tyreek Hill, Nick Westbrook-Akine, who they just picked up. So that probably aren't doing much at receiver. It is the 4th round, so not looking for anything crazy. Safety, Ifeatu Melifonwu and Ashton Davis. So they might be looking for a safety. Well, he is more exciting than what they already have because he doesn't have a torn ACL. And hasn't had a torn ACL. He's got no injury history. So we are the Dolphins here. QB Kyle McCord is on the board. They've drafted tackle, corner, center, linebacker, wide receiver. Mm, mm, mm. And they've got you know what? They're going slot receiver here. Actually, what is this guy? Outside X to groom behind not Jalen Ramsey, Tyreek Hill will be leaving after next year probably, or after this year probably. Boom. Xavier Restrepo. Might be having a better draft than the damn Dolphins. Patriots, Giovanni Manu. Next year's picks. Next year's pick. Reject all. Patriots on board. Defensive end, safety, wide receiver, running back. Let's look at that O-line. And we're going to go back to the Patriots O-line. Ready and low. Layden Robinson, Garrett Bradbury, Mike Nwinu, Morgan Moses. They're taking that kid out of Rutgers, Holland Pierce, to be their next tackle or to compete next year. Jets on the board. And if I remember correctly, they could use some O-line help as well. They just lost Morgan Moses to the Jets. Their starting offensive line is Olu Fashanu, solid. John Simpson, okay, don't know who that is. Joe Tippmann, solid. Elijah Vera Tucker, if he could stay healthy, solid. And Chukwuma Okafor. They're going to take guard from Cincinnati, Luke Kandra. Boom. Yeah, but that's how the Bills do it. So, if you're following the way the team actually does things, it's the way it works. All right. Pick 150, Miami Dolphins. Going back to the Dolphins. Linebacker, center, tackle, center, tackle, guard. C, 5'11", 290, smaller guard. Can't play center. Solid blocking. Projected 6th-round pick, though. Well, they say they need a QB. We'll give him a QB. Dylan Gabriel's a Dolphin. Hell yeah, you do. All right. Dang, the Dolphins got some picks in this round. See about that guard now. We're at pick 155. It's ranked at 178. Boom. Get him a guard. Round 5, where we have a lot of firepower for the Bills. Jets are on the board. And the D-line, it says, for the New Jersey Jets, we've taken Mason Graham. Okay, so we'll say D-line. Vernon Broughton is 6'4", 305. Yep. We'll hook him up. D-line for the Jets. Getting some nice backups in there. Some rotational players for the Jets. So when Quinn Williams sneezes and then blesses himself. Let's see. Had our Bills take cornerback Darian Porter. And you know how the Bills like their corners. They also like their receivers. It's a pretty full receiving room. But Dante Thornton is there. Like him. Kobe Hudson. Isaac Tesla. Let's go DB. O'Donnell, Fortune, Tommy Hill, Quincy Riley, Jalen Reed, Penn State. Okay, I like the safety there. Let's take a look at his profile. 6'2", That's a big boy. Man slot safety, okay. Let's see. Upton Stout from Western Kansas, or Western Kentucky, excuse me. 5'8", 181, man zone free safety. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. What's his coverage look like? Not good in press man, good in zone. Coverage overall, solid tackler, run defense. And they have him as a 6th-round pick. We are in the 6th round. All right. If we want to double dip at corner, O'Donnell Fortune, 6'1", 185. Outside press man. How's his zone skills? Zone skills are on point. Tackling is kind of weak, but 6th-round pick. Give us ammo for next year. No. Tommy Hill, Nebraska, outside zone corner, and a 4.55. Stinks of. Yeah, he's faster than Dane Jackson. Fortune ran a 4.58. That's definitely stinks of Dane Jackson. Taking the safety, probably, yeah. Safety off the board. All right, guys, we're almost done with this thing. No, we take 2 in a row. Shoot. Ooh, punter kicker. It was complained to me that we did not give them any love. We've got a punter kicker here with 4.9 speed. Ooh. Let's see. 57 and 56 yards. Let's go to teams. We have him. Ryan Fitzgerald from Florida State. Florida, South Carolina. I gotta look this guy up. Yeah, no, I don't. You know what? Screw it. Yeah, 5'8" safety. Hey, man, the kid can move. I'm more worried about can he move or not. Also 6th round. So, yeah, mock draft. All right, taking a punter kicker here. Boom. And we are on the board already again. Corner, running back, center, tackle, tight end. Is he a blocking tight end? Slot receiving tight end. Okay, so that's if Dalton Kincaid and Edward Scissorhands had a baby, this is what you get. That's crazy. Running back, tackle, corner. I took 1 corner only, I believe. Yep, sure did. Defensive back. Quincy Riley, Louisville. 5'11", 194. Outside zone corner, ran a 4.48. Okay, acceptable speed. Solid zone, and there we go. There's our double dip right there. Quincy Riley. I'm on the clock with who, though? With the Patriots. There it goes. Okay. Says they need edge. We drafted one in the first round. I don't know what this thing's on about. Next week it'll be the PFF mock draft simulator. All right, so the Patriots took Judkins, wide receiver, running back, center, tackle, running back, tight end, running back, tackle, running back, tackle. We're going to take the best. Ooh. Hold up. Wait a minute. Nope. Never mind. I forgot they signed Bradbury, so center's off the table, basically. Taking the best tackle off the board. Boom. And he went to the Bills. Great. Where am I on the board? The Jets. And the New York Jets. Taking defensive line twice. Taking offensive line once. Their tight end situation. Drafted one here. What's their running back situation looking like? I know they got Breece Hall. Who's behind him? Is it Michael Carter? Braylon Allen. Nope, they ain't worried about that. Freaking give them offensive tackle. Boom. All right, here we go. Apparently it was for the Bills. I didn't want it to be for the Bills, but I couldn't find where our pick was. I think it shifted. Next time I'm using the PFF one because it's less confusing than this. I like this one the way it's realistic with the picks better, but it's throwing me off a little bit. All right, Bills on the board. Last pick of the draft. We've taken defensive tackle Kenneth Grant, cornerback Darian Porter, Kyle Kernard, edge rusher, double dip to defensive tackle, taking Jordan Phillips, wide receiver Tory Horton, running back Trevor Etienne, safety Upton Stout, punter kicker Andres Borregales, Quincy Riley, Chase Lunt, tackle out of UConn. So maybe we could set him behind Dion or behind Spencer and develop him. We'll see. 6th round pick, it is what it is, but it still pisses me off that this weird simulator did that. Pick 206. Could always use another linebacker to try and push Bell Inspector off the roster. 6 foot, 224. Multi-role linebacker, ran a 4.82. A little slow, buddy. That's why you're still here. Let's see. Linebacker, Utah, Kareem Reed. 6 foot, 231. That's a little bigger. I like that better. A little more speed. Box linebacker. This is exactly the type of guy who would bounce Bale Inspector off the roster. Linebacker Kareem Reed is a Buffalo Bill. That's our draft. The Jets. Next year, reject. It's all running backs here. Cornerback, 6', 194, outside zone corner, 4.49 speed. Boom. Get you some of that. Oof, we are almost done with this, guys. Almost 2 hours in. Let's do it. Hell yeah. Roast me. I'm good with it. I enjoy it. See, like right here, round 7. There we are. Oh, yeah, I forgot the Patriots have a slew of picks this freaking round. Wide receiver, running back, corner, offensive tackle, running back, linebacker, running back, safety, Clemson. 6', 199, 2 interceptions, 4.49 speed, man slot safety. Get a guy behind Duggar. Is that the same guy? Yep. Clemson. Boom. Get the Patriots a guy behind Duggar to develop. Let's go. Patriots on the board again already. Golly G. Whitakers. Ricky White III, wide receiver UNLV. 6'1", 184, 79 receptions, outside X receiver. Hands are questionable, but deep threat substantial. 7th round, Patriots take a shot at the wide receiver. Bam. Dolphins. MIA. They took tackle, corner, center, linebacker, wide receiver, QB, guard. Running back Taj Brooks. They're running Alexander Madison, 5'9", 214, 1,500 yards, 17 rush TDs. Ran a 4.52. Dolphins take a running back in the 6th round from Texas Tech, Taj Brooks. Bam. Come on, let's get it. Dolphins back on the board already. Linebacker, wide receiver, QB. There's a safety, Craig Woodson, on the board from Cal. 6 foot, 200 pounds, 2 interceptions, 4.45 speed. Man slot safety. I remember something going on with Kader Kohu. Boom. Get your big nickel out there. Let's go. Let's finish this dang thing. Patriots with another pick. Abdul Carter. They're going to go with the defensive tackle, Desmond Watson, 6'5", 464 pounds, a fat-ass blast. Let's go, big man. To the Patriots. Vrabel will help you slim down. Bam. Patriots get the big man. Is that our last pick for the division? Nope, the Dolphins have another pick. Does New England have another pick? They don't. Does the Jets have another pick? They don't. All right, so this pick is the Dolphins' final pick and the AFC East final pick in this draft. Dolphins are taking tackle, corner, center, linebacker, wide receivers, a QB, a guard, running back, a safety. Corner we took. Okay. He's kind of a high risk, high reward guy. Jamari Harris, 6 foot, 191, outside zone corner. Grades pretty well. Not so good in tackling. That's why he's a 7th-round pick. Final pick of the draft for the AFC East. Let me check out Tesla real quick, see what he's about. All right. 6'4", 214, multi-role receiver. They've already taken 2. Taking the corner right here. Bam. That's the AFC draft. AFC East draft. Closing that. Buffalo Bills get Kenneth Grant, Darian Porter, Kyle Kennard, Jordan Phillips, Torrey Horton, Trevor Etienne, Upton Stout, Andres Borregales, Quincy Riley, Chase Lint, and Kareem Reed. Miami Dolphins, Armand Membu, Maxwell Hairston, Jared Wilson, Danny Stutzman, Kyle Williams, Xavier Restrepo, Dylan Gabriel, William Lampkin, Taj Brooks, Craig Woodson, and Jamari Harris. New England Patriots walk out of this draft. Abdul Carter, Nick Emanwari, Trey Harris, Quinshawn Judkins, Zy Alexander, Holland Pierce, RJ Mickens, Ricky White III, and Desmond Watson. Big man. And the Jets, Mason Graham, Jaden Higgins, Harold Fannin Jr., Jalen Milroe, Luke Condra, Vernon Broughton, Jack Nelson, and Jason Marshall Jr. Guys, that's the draft. Draft is now complete. Woof. It's a long show, but it was fun. Guys, I appreciate you all. I love you. Spin. Keep on roasting. Awesome. See, how did the Bills get 11 picks? I traded back in the third from the pick 58 to the first round, first pick in the third round, and I acquired an extra pick later on. So, 6 practice squad players. Let me see. I don't know if I agree with that. See, Torrey Horton, no, not practice squad. Trevor Etienne, I don't think he's a practice squad guy. Upton Stout, we'll see. He could push Damar Hamlin off the roster. Andres Borregales, we'll see what happens there. You never know. You never know. The Bills often pick good late-round picks. I'm not saying I'm that, but hey, it's go Bills all the way. Guys, you guys take care. God bless. Go Bills. It has been an hour and 48 minutes. You guys have a great rest of your evening. See you next week.